If you would have told me this 5 years ago, I would not have believed you. Hey and welcome to a new video. I'm Sophie and about 2.5 years ago I bought a house in Sweden. And at the beginning of this year I decided to pack up my life and move from a big city in Germany to the countryside in northern Sweden. A lot has changed in my life ever since I made this move, and a lot of things have become a normality now that I have never imagined before, so I thought why not share that with you. And keep in mind that of course all the things that I'll be sharing now are based on my personal experience, and I just wanted to share some insights from my perspective that is applicable to my life. So this is of course not representative for all of Sweden. So without further ado, I would say let's jump right in. Driving 30 minutes to get grocery is now totally normal for me, and to be honest, I don't even consider it a hustle anymore. I usually combine grocery shopping with visits in town or a visit to a cafe, so I hardly ever leave the town without not passing by the supermarket. Is it sometimes a little bit annoying when you go to the store to buy butter and you come home only to realize you bought a million other things minus the butter and you would have to return and drive another 30 minutes? Yes, absolutely. But as said, I think it is something you get used to and you become better with time to actually buy the things you wanted to buy once you have made this mistake a couple of times. And the same also goes for bigger stores like IKEA or the building supply shop. For me, this is usually a 3.5 hour round trip. So when I go, I really make sure to visit a lot of different shops there. And it usually turns into a quite exhausting day trip, but I always make sure to cram in as many visits as possible so I do not have to return again soon after. But generally I would say this is just very, very normal when you live in the countryside, so it doesn't matter what country you're in, it is always the same. Because in the end, why do most people live in the city? Just because they like the convenience it brings with it and the proximity to the different places. But of course also here in the north the distances are a lot bigger than compared to the south, and one just has to get used to driving bigger distances. Also, for instance, for any cultural activities I would either drive to Stockholm or Gothenburg, so that's also like 6 to 8 hours away, so you can imagine that this is not something I do on a very regular basis. The next part is probably going to be the biggest part of this video, and that is winter, because winter absolutely has to be in a video like this. Winters are a huge part of the area where I live in, and we often live with wintry conditions for about 6 months a year, and it is actually not uncommon to also have some snow still in May. We can also get temperatures of up to -30 degrees Celsius in winter, which is not something I ever had to experience before, because in Germany, in comparison, the winters are very mild, so that was quite a big difference for me in the beginning. So here are a couple of things that have just become normal to me now when it comes to winter. So during winter, the first thing I do when I wake up is go to my basement and heat up the furnace, which is connected to all the radiators here in the house. Do I enjoy that? Well, the honest answer is no. It is definitely a struggle every morning when, you know, you've just gotten out of your warm bed and you have to go outside into -20 degrees to heat up the furnace and then just wait until the house is actually heated up. And I would say to really feel comfortably in the house, it generally takes maybe around 2 hours. So the mornings are quite chill, and I feel like the only warmth I find in the morning is underneath my blanket. And related to my previous point, we obviously have to get firewood delivered home. And then stack it. And that is quite an exhausting and time-consuming task, I can tell you. I think in the future, the plan would also be to actually do all of this ourselves and just get some trees delivered home, and then to just cut them ourselves into small pieces and stack it. But this is in the future. But to be honest, I actually do enjoy the part of stacking the wood. It's quite a meditative task, I would say, if you have like a good audiobook or music on and you just do from A to B, and that's what you do. I mean, it is a good workout, I can tell you that. If you would have told me this 5 years ago, I would not have believed you. This has honestly always been such a dream of mine for many years, just to be able to go and see the Northern Lights somewhere. And just now to think that I can literally walk outside my door and see them above my garden and the house, and it's just so incredibly magical. I mean, how crazy is that, right? Oh, yeah. And now I've just gotten so used to checking my Northern Lights app on a regular basis. Maybe how like other people check their social media accounts or their weather forecast apps. That's what I do with my Aurora forecast. And it's become such a habit to just every day look at it and then go outside, check and see, looks good, might be promising tonight, and then just go and see if you will be able to see the Northern Lights that evening. And that's just so incredible. Clearing the driveway or digging my car out of a thick layer of snow is maybe also not the most fun activity when we had a fresh layer of snow. We sometimes get snow amounts of maybe up to 1 meter, so you can imagine when you have to shovel that, it does take a lot of time to do that. And of course there are tools and machines that can help you out there and really facilitate your life, but it hasn't been in the budget yet. So for now, everything I do is manual labor. But well, you gotta do what you gotta do if you wanna get out your driveway and go to the supermarket or wherever you have to go. Trust me, I have so many winter clothes. Wool is now also the main material that I wear almost year round. I have a huge amount of winter clothes and like wool-based layers, winter jackets, and all other things that you need. I think I also probably have like 7 pairs of different winter boots. That was also something that I very quickly noticed when I moved up here. You know, like the cute winter shoes and my cute winter coats that I brought from back home from mild German winter simply did not hold up here. I've noticed that very quickly. You know, like where I come from, our winters we maybe have like 5 centimeters of snow, and then you come here and then you walk outside and you have that much snow that you have to walk through. Trust me, those city winter shoes just weren't doing it. But I often joke around that there's exactly 2 kinds of shoes that I need up here, and that is on the one hand the winter boots for the winter, and then rubber boots for the summer, because that's literally all I wear when I'm out in the garden or around the house. So yeah. I am still absolutely fascinated by how crazy the differences are between summer and winter when it comes to the amount of daylight we get. Well, in summer we literally have daylight 24/7 and I could sit outside at midnight while reading a book. In winter the sun maybe rises around 9:30 and sets at 2 o'clock. So there's only very few hours of daylight that we have during those times, and the rest it's just dark. And I'm not lying if I'm saying that during winter I usually plan my day around daylight and how to best make use of it. But this is also something that definitely takes time to get used to. I think all in all, I know a lot of people are struggling during that time with seasonal depression and a lack of motivation. They just want to be inside, sleeping, be in their bed the whole time. Fortunately for me, this has never been the case and I have not experienced that. Winter is one of my favorite seasons and I just find it absolutely beautiful and magical how the world looks and feels during that time. But it is certainly something you should keep in mind when you are thinking of moving up here. You need to like winter because it is a large part of the year, and if you do not thrive in winter, you're going to have a very difficult time, to be honest. Since I moved here, I generally have a less active social life and less social contacts. And a lot of it is actually by choice, just of me wanting to take a bit of a step back and also listening more to what my body wants. And don't get me wrong, I met a lot of amazing people here, and if I want to meet up with people, I can totally do that. It's just a lot of the times I simply don't feel like it, or I just don't feel like I'm energized enough to meet up with people and do small talk, and then I just don't. It might just be a phase, but I think I've just come to the conclusion that I'm really happy in my own presence and that I recharge a lot better with myself. So this is just something that I do now. So maybe that's the new me. Maybe I will go back to being a social bee. No one knows. And this is still a very difficult one for me, and I don't think I have actually gotten used to that yet. But summers here are very short. So when people tell you this, it is not a lie. And it is something you have to get used to. Like, for instance, this year we had 2 weeks of a heat wave, and the rest of the summer was basically gloomy, very windy, and just a lot of clouds most of the time. So you usually have like June and July that are of like nice weather, but then in August it can often be already quite fresh and rainy already. So if you are used to warm summers with loads of sunshines where you can just wear dresses and shorts all the time, also at night, this is only a very short period that you are able to do that here, at least where I live. So it can be a bit difficult. I think also maybe for me in the future, if for instance next year the summer isn't so summery, that you feel like you've actually enjoyed it to the fullest and you're now prepared for the winter, I think I'm definitely gonna go to like a warmer destination, maybe in like September or October, just to soak in enough sunlight to get me through the winter. Because that might be needed. I feel like this year I haven't gotten enough sun, unfortunately. But well, it is what it is. It's nothing you can change. Like, you have no influence over the weather, so you have to get used to it. But yeah, just something to keep in mind. Hunting time, and I'm only mentioning this because the moose hunting season has just started here this week, so I thought it is quite relevant at the moment. I personally have zero interest in hunting. I also don't eat meat myself, and for me, I could not imagine something worse than going out and hunting. But this is just my personal personal choice. But hunting is definitely a very, very big topic up here. You can often see some of those plastic tapes when you go into the forest that indicates that this is a hunting area. So when you see those, just be a bit careful and wear like a warning vest when going in, just to be on the safe side. It is very normal to see foxes and deers, reindeers or mooses out here. And especially during winter, I think it is so cool when you go outside and you see all the different footprints. Like, I love doing this when I go into my backyard and I just see what has been around in my garden during the day or the night. I think it's so fascinating. But it's definitely not uncommon, and I've seen quite a few moose around here as well. And like deers, there were times I almost saw them on a daily basis, so that's super nice. Okay, so I think those were actually the main normalities that I found that I have now in my life. Of course, a large part is focused on winter, just because it is such a big part of this area where I'm living in. I do hope that this was maybe interesting or helpful for you. If you have any more questions, just let me know down in the comments. Always happy to answer them, and I will see you in the next video. Bye bye!